Hi guys, thank you for coming to this art class today. This is through the County of San Luis Obispo Public Libraries with a grant from the California State Library. And the class will be run by Amy Wicks today. So I'll go ahead and hand you on over to her.
Hi everyone, I'm Amy and I'm here to paint this modern sunshine painting with you today. And I am an art teacher here in SLO County. I teach at parties and private classes, as well as with the library. And I have 3 kids and I do lots of projects with them. And that's where I get a lot of my ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the supplies we'll be using today. If you were able to pick up a kit, you will have inside of your kit some paint and some paint pods. We're going to be using yellow, orange, white, and pink. If you were not able to pick up the kit, the project is fairly straightforward, and with a few supplies, you'll be able to do it as well. We're going to use some watercolor paper, which I have cut in half, and we're going to use some painter's tape. Well, this is artist tape. You can also use the regular blue painter's tape. That'll work just fine. And then of course you'll need a paintbrush. You might need some paper towels, some water, and maybe some scissors. I might show you how to trim down your painter's tape. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to grab our paper and some tape, whatever kind of tape you have, either painter's tape or this artist tape, which is very similar to masking tape. It just comes off the paper a little bit easier. And so our first job will be to create the sunshine. This is a resist painting. So we're going to be thinking about places that we want to have no color on it. And we're going to use the tape to create the outline of the rays and the sun. It's fairly simple. A couple different things you can do. You can tear the tape, and you can use the tape how wide it is currently, or you can take the tape and actually trim it in half lengthwise if you would like a slightly narrower resist painting, meaning that if you trim down your tape, you're going to get narrower stripes on your painting. Okay, so I think I'm going to start by tearing and showing you this process. So we'll start out by trying to make a very simple little half circle here, which will be our sunshine. You can tear it into different little pieces to try to get that rounded effect. So little pieces in different little angles, trying to make the half circle. See how good I can do it here. You can overlap it a bit too. And then again, it's going to be up to you as to how big you want to make your circle. I'm going to go ahead and trim off this little edge here so it could be a little bit smoother. Okay, and so we just keep working on this until we get a nice little half circle here. Nice little arc. And we want to make sure that we cover all of the little edges here. So we don't want to have like some gaps, like say I had a piece here and then a piece start here. You guys can see that, I hope. We don't want it to have a break, because wherever the breaks are is where the paint is going to go. Scoot that over a little. Okay, and so after you have this nice little arc or semicircle, you're going to go ahead and start making the rays, and we'll just decide how many we want to put here. I'll use the narrower ones that I cut for this, just for fun. You're more than welcome to use the full width of the tape. And so we want to get maybe about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 rays, creating these little spaces where we're going to try different colors. This is a real simple little modern project to do at home. And if you have tape left over or more painter's tape handy, you can experiment with different shapes than the sunshine. And it's pretty fun. Right, so I'm going to cut a couple more narrow strips here. And then create a few more rays. Pressing down, you can actually loop, fold this around the back of your paper as well. And then, so I'll do another here, and I'm just going to work my way around the sun until I get as many as I'd like. As you're unrolling your tape, you can kind of size it that way if you need to. This other piece too. You could also experiment with different widths of tape. You could do some of them full width, and then you could do some of them narrow. It might be kind of interesting, making like more slender spaces and more wide spaces on your sun. I'm going to show you the simple version, and then you guys can go ahead and add to it. Let's see, I think I'll do one here straight across. One here. And then I'll add maybe 2 more. And my taping off will be complete. Got another here. And now we're getting that nice sunshine shape, and I'm just going to go back and make sure everything's pressed down nicely. Just kind of run your finger across it and get out the air. All right. So I like the way that looks. I'm going to go ahead and grab my palette here. And if you don't have a palette, you can use a paper plate or a piece of cardboard or even a piece of thick paper. And what I've done is I have put on this palette the colors that you have if you have the kit. And again, if you don't have the kit, you can grab some acrylic pink, orange, yellow, and white. You may also use watercolor. Watercolor would turn out really nicely on this painting as well. And you can also pick a different color scheme altogether if you want to try something different. So I'm going to grab a brush and set my scissors aside here. And the fun of this painting really is going to be in color mixing. So what I'm going to do is see if I can come up with a couple different colors with just these 4 colors. So I'll start out with mixing some yellow with a bit of orange and kind of try to come up with a more golden, darker yellow color. And I'll use that as one of the rays. And again, you can use it on any ray. You can make your own pattern here. And I'll just go ahead and paint one of these rays, and I'm not going to worry about the fact that it's going to be going on top of the on top of the tape, because we're going to peel that tape off later. So I'm just going to paint right over this. And while I have this dark yellow, I might just go ahead and do one more shape too, because I like this color. So maybe I'll pick this side over here. I'm using a piece of copy paper underneath my painting. You could use newspaper or a paper towel just so that you can run right off the edge with the paint and not really worry about getting it on your table. So then I'll go ahead and rinse out this brush. And I'm going to keep on coming up with some different colors. I'll get that water out of there on the paper towel. And I'll do pink and try to lighten it, like a light pink with maybe just a touch of orange, like a light peach color. And then same process, just pick where you'd like to put that. And just go ahead and fill that ray in. I like that color. So these colors are all coming from the same color family. So that's what makes the painting look nice and put together, is that all of these colors are mixed together, and you know, they're a compilation of the same 4 colors. All right, I'm going to use this dark orange, I think, and paint the sun area. And again, not really worrying if I paint the tape, that's just fine. Come up with a couple other colors here. Maybe some yellow. So I believe in the kits, we have an extra piece of half sheet of watercolor paper. And if you have any extra tape, you could go ahead and take that off with some different shapes. That'd be a good way to use the rest of that. And I'll show you a couple different shapes too. Let's see, maybe a pink. Let's see what happens when we do pink and this darker orange here. Like a darker peach. And when we're working with the acrylic, we want to just do a nice quick, not thick layer, a really nice quick thin layer. That will help it dry and not be all gloppy. So that's something to think about when you're working on this kind of thing. Just you can use less paint and still get to the same result. All right, I'm liking how this is looking. I like that yellow actually, so I think I'll put some yellow on this side too. And with each different color, we're rinsing out that brush. Yeah, a little tad bit of orange here. Take that off. Okay, and I have space for 2 more. So we will do pink and white. Make a real light pink here. Right. And then last color, you can look back at your palette at the colors that you've mixed up and maybe grab one of those. Let's see, I think I will go with this orange plus the light pink here. Like a light orange color. These are all cool sunset colors. These two are a little bit similar here. So maybe we add a little bit more yellow to that. Just slightly more golden. And that is it for the painting. And now we will just let this guy dry. And I have one that I did earlier so that I can show you what to do. You'll set yours, if you set it in the sun, it'll actually dry relatively quickly, like maybe within 15 minutes. Or you can just set it aside on your desk. And then after it dries, you will carefully remove the tape. And if you had folded over the tape on the back, you'll want to start by carefully removing it from the back. And you want to kind of press your painting down as you're removing the tape so that it doesn't rip your painting. And then we'll just slowly take off all the tape and we'll see the negative space created there. Go ahead and lift these guys up. Just slowly removing the tape. This one got a little bit to tear there. If your tape lifts up a little bit of your paper, you can just clip it off. But all in all, it did pretty well. And there you go. So this painter's tape resist painting has endless possibilities. You could make any kind of shapes. It's really fun to do different triangles and polygons, and then add on top of those, after it's dry, even different paintings within the shapes that you create. So those are all really fun things you can do with a half sheet of watercolor paper and some painter's tape or artist's tape. I have just a moment here to tape off a couple of different shapes just to show you while you guys are working. And then we can take any questions. So just like the sunshine, you can trim the tape lengthwise to make narrower pieces. And then we can come up with some really cool shapes with our second piece of paper. And then do a very similar project where you come up with different shapes. And that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions while I'm starting different shapes to show you, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, Amy, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.